Hi, my niblet. How are you tonight? Did you brush your teeth and wash your face and say your prayer? Are you all tucked in with Blanky, Lala, and Teddy Bear? Now that you're ready, my little sleepy eyes, let's enjoy story time like dark stars in the sky. Love you, Nanna Newf. I had a hard time with that one. Now tonight, we're going to read Walt Disney's Mickey Meets the Giant. It's a Walt Disney beginner reader book. Now we're going to pop right over this real quick and go Mickey Meets the Giant. Once upon a time, there lived a brave woodcutter named Mickey. His work took him from place to place. One day, he came to a pretty town. It was called Cedar Grove. These hills are just going to be full of sweet-smelling trees, he thought. I can smell that wood. Sure makes a lot of money, but first I must make sure my axe is sharp. So the woodcutter walked through the streets of the town. There were very many people in the streets. Everyone looked very upset. "Whatever happened to us?" one of the women cried. "We must find someone who can beat the giant," yelled the man. "Why is everyone so afraid of this giant?" "What has he done?" asked Mickey. The people told him about the night when the giant decided to have a little fun. While they lay sleeping, the giant began to whistle. When he whistled, the wind blew. And he whistled through their windows. The wind blew through their homes, and it blew all the sleeping people right out of their beds. Mickey didn't like that story very much, and he didn't like the next one at all either. One day, the giant wanted to play. He jumped roped in the field that they had just been planted. He made footprints all over the fields. That night, it rained, and the next day, the fields were covered with foot-shaped lakes. When the giant saw the footprints filled with water, he began to laugh. He laughed so hard that he fell down and rolled on the ground, and he laughed some more. Everything for miles around shook as he laughed. This was way too much for the animals in the forest, and they were so afraid that they ran for their lives. "Now there are no animals in Cedar Grove," said the giant, "and soon there'll be no people. Ho, ho." What a terrible giant, thought Mickey. Just then a wagon came racing into town. It stopped. The delivery driver got to the ground, and he told Mickey his story. "I was taking my family away from Cedar Grove, but a huge boulder rolled right into the road. It was so big. There was no way around it, and I looked up to see what it came from, and there stood a giant." The giant laughed very hard as he saw that I was afraid. His laugh was as loud as thunder. My horse was so scared that he turned right around. He ran as fast as he could back to the Cedar Grove. The giant had blocked the only way out of town. Now people of Cedar Grove were trapped. The brave woodcutter had heard enough. "Let me face the giant," he said. "I have beaten bullies before, and I'll do it again." Everyone laughed at the woodcutter. "You cannot beat this giant," said the kind policeman. "But do I think you must be a very young, brave man." "Stan Doodle is the man to do this," said the policeman. "I remember the time that Stan ran into a mean old bear out in Cedar Grove." Stan stepped into the front. "I'll show the giant who's boss," he said. But it was not long before Stan came running home. He was dripping wet, and he was very upset. The giant had picked up poor Stan by the hair, and he had dropped him right into the cup of tea. So the people called a town meeting. This time, they picked the tallest man in Cedar Grove to challenge the giant. But Tall Tom was not a brave man. He did not want to meet the giant, but at last off he went. Before the townspeople could count to 3, Tall Tom come running back. "I just saw the giant break the tallest tree in the forest in 2 pieces," he cried. "I did not want that to happen to me." The people in the town did not know what to do next. "That does it. I'm going to beat that giant," said Mickey. "I may be small, but I will not be afraid. Before I go, I'll need 3 things. I'll need a bag, I'll need a drinking straw, and I'll need a Wittes, roundest cheese in town. I have a plan." The people wondered what the woodcutter wanted with such things. Before they gave him what he asked for, then they told him how to find the giant. When the woodcutter got to the giant's cave, he looked everywhere, but he could not find the giant. So he walked into the deep, dark cave. There he found bats and rats, but there was no sign of a giant. Woodcutter decided to wait for the giant. He hopped on a rock outside the cave. Just then the rock began to shake. "Whoa, what is going on here?" cried Mickey. "Ho, ho, ho," came a rumbling noise from above. The woodcutter looked up and up and up. "Oh, I see," Mickey said. "You must be the giant." "Well, I'm very glad to meet you," said Mickey in a small voice. "You mean you are not afraid of me?" asked the giant. "Afraid of you? Why, I'm here to challenge you," said Mickey. "Ho, ho, ho," thundered the giant. "Bigger men than you have tried to beat me. They have failed. I'll just have to show you how strong I am. Watch this," roared the giant. Then he wrapped his huge hand around the widest tree in the forest. He pulled it up as if he were a carrot in the garden. "And this," he said. Then he pounded his huge hand on the ground. The ground came apart. It became a deep, long canyon. "Now it's my turn," said Mickey to the giant. "Watch how far I can blow this leaf." "A leaf?" yelled the giant. "I could blow down 50 trees with one breath." And the giant took a deep breath. Whoosh! There lay 50 trees on the forest floor. Mickey now knew his plan would work. "Not bad," he told the giant. "Now it's my turn. Watch how far I can throw this stone." "That's just a pebble," said the giant. "Step aside." The giant bent down to pick up the boulder. "This is such a tiny rock," cried Mickey. "Why not throw that one over there?" Mickey pointed over the very large boulder that was blocking the road to Cedar Grove. The giant gathered all of his strength. He threw that boulder far, far away, and now the road was not blocked. "My plan is working better than I had hoped," Mickey thought. He reached into his bag and pulled out a straw. "Watch this," he said to the giant. "I'm going to drink all the water in this pond." "Straws in ponds are for weaklings," said the giant. "I can drink a lake." "Can you drink all those foot-shaped lakes in the planting fields?" asked Mickey. "Watch me," said the giant. And with that he drank all the water in each and every lake. Now the giant was tired, and he was so full of water that he was about to burst. Here's an easy one for you, said Mickey. How much water can you squeeze from a stone? The giant picked up a stone, and he squeezed as hard as he could, but no water came from the stone. But what kind of giant are you? Asked Mickey. When he held up a white cheese. See this stone? Watch this. Then he squeezed and squeezed, and water ran from the cheese. The giant's eyes grew big with fear. And if you don't leave Cedar Grove at once, said Mickey, well, I will. Well, I will. The giant turned and ran. Mickey smiled to himself. His plan had worked. He had stood up to the giant, and he had made the giant put all of the wrong things he had done right. Quickly, he went back to town. He told the people what he had done. They cheered Mickey on for his courage, and they became a hero of the town. From that time on, the people of Cedar Grove lived in peace, and the giant was never heard from again. The end.